You know, you hear so much in the culture about, how do people make it? Well, they have to have incredible talent, God-given talent, or they have to, be brilliant, geniuses, the people who become billionaires when they're 21. But the truth is, and all the research we were reading was that you don't really have to have that, kind of it factor, that it's really the grit factor, people who work hard, people who know how to focus, people who stay committed, that are actually the most successful. And that was really how we thought our success had happened. So we wanted to share it.
And we started looking at sort of great, uber successful people and realized what was so extraordinary about them was how completely ordinary they were growing up. Colin Powell was a C- student in college, was thrilled that he even was able to go to college, right? Steven Spielberg got rejected from film school twice, right? And Michael Jordan, a lot of people don't know this, didn't even make his high school varsity basketball team. They did not have any inborn gifts. What they did have, as Robin said, and what we found out, was grit as we define it, as an acronym. We're in advertising. You've got to come up with acronyms. Guts, resilience, initiative, tenacity, and in fact, brilliant, incredible prodigies. Only 2% of them ever amount to anything. But 98% of the most successful people in the world have this grit factor.
This character trait. But here's the thing, everybody needs to find that source of passion, something you're going to want to work really hard at and for a long time, but you got to do it and not be a dreamer. We talk in the book about needing to ditch the dream, because I think a lot of what the culture tells you is, dream what you'd like to achieve, and you'll send all these good vibes into the world, and that will happen. That's exactly wrong. That the way really successful people are able to pursue their passions or even find out their passions is by really working at it and doing at it. We have a saying that we used to have at the agency, now is the time and we are the people. That there's no point in just, planning and dreaming and thinking what if and when if. It's, you got to do it now.
As S.G. Lauder is famous for saying, I never once dreamt of success. I just worked for it. In the book, we have so many, we call them grit builders, so many tips that we've gotten from successful people that we've just looked and researched, and things that we actually do ourselves. Even the very simple thing of whatever it is you're preparing to do, spend 30 minutes longer doing it. It sounds crazy, but it actually works.
Because if you spend that 30 minutes, I can guarantee you, nobody else in the room spent that 30 minutes. And the book is filled with all these, we call them grit builders.
That's great advice.
Talking about the idea of sort of conquering the fear of not knowing something by over-preparing, we had an amazing interview with Nick Wallenda, part of the whole Flying Wallenda's Daredevils, right? And he walked across, if you remember, the Grand Canyon without a safety net. Now, you may think this man's out of his mind. He's 38 years old, he has 3 kids. He actually said to us, I was so over-prepared for that stunt, it was almost like a cakewalk. He said, I had practiced for 5 years in my backyard with every type of wind current, sandstorm, rainstorm you could possibly imagine. There was nothing that was happening when I was walking across there that I hadn't done in my sleep a million zillion times. He said, I was taught at a very early age, you respect fear. Fear is something that says to you, you need to work a little harder. And we tell people, lose the safety net, but make sure that you're prepared.
One thing I do want to talk about, because the book has so many things in it. We talk a lot about, how grit is good for you, it's good for your career, it'll help your relationships. But the really wonderful thing about grit, and the book ends this way, which is just so, I think, uplifting, is you can use this character trait. All of the guts, the resilience, the initiative, the tenacity, not only to do well for yourself, but to do amazing things for the world. And I think that's such a positive message, especially, for young people who not only want to build their careers, but also want to do something that actually makes the world better for all of us.
We think grit is society's great equalizer because anybody can develop it at any age, and this book helps to show you how.
As we like to say, if you want to be great, you got to get grit.